I didn't know we were going to meet so much great talent coming through here. I didn't know that people would want to drive from across the state or beyond, or even do Zoom calls with us. Like, who are these guys, right?
Yeah.
But we just keep showing up. And I think that's a big testament to the listeners, too, if you're listening. Like, just a lot of times you don't have to be the best at anything. Nobody's asking anybody to be the best. The best ability is availability.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Metal Maniacs Podcast. I'm Jay Ingersoll.
Hell yeah, I'm your boy Mod.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Hell yeah. So this episode, like we were just kind of discussing beforehand, we're going to talk about, we never really did a honorary 2 years in the bag episode, but we're a little bit over 2 years at this point. Like our first episode came out August 29th, 2023. That was our first episode. And we did it like a few weeks before that. We were just getting the hang of things and getting dialed in, you know, so we were doing a little bit longer than that. But with the new year coming up, 2026, I figured this would be a cool time just to sit down, and I got some questions for you, and maybe we'll just give some feedback on the podcast. And
shit,
you know,
so I didn't know I was the guest to be
you
interviewed today.
are.
Well, first of all, let's tell the whole truth. The whole truth is, in the very beginning, was like a lot of talk about this, right? Hey, I want to do this thing. What do you think? And immediately I'm just like, yeah, why not? Cool. I mean, I'm totally available for it, and I'm your friend, and it sounds like something I would want to do myself. But I feel like you kind of like, you invited me over to talk, and you're showing me all the equipment, and then you're like, well, we're here. Well, let's just turn the cameras on and film. And we were just supposed to talk, kind of like we were. It was going to be like a script read or something, like a table talk. We were just going to sit down and kind of like go through the motions. And I was like, well, kind of like recording a practice, right? We'll flip them on. And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's just record and see how we behave on camera. So that was a little bit more of the detail of the first meeting. Was like, we were just going to talk about some things. And he's like, well, here's what the first episode is, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you know, just turn the cameras on and see if the shots are right. And if anybody goes back to watch the first one, you know, the angles are different. The lighting is different. It's a lot different. And we've come a long way and dialed it in. And like, so that's kind of what the episode's about, is you go back to one and then watch the last couple episodes or whatever.
Absolutely.
The way the things are dialed in now, the camera, the setup. And don't get used to it, right? Because coming around 2026 might be a different look.
Yeah, there's a couch out there right now. I got a cover for it. I think it'll look pretty sweet. And I got a hang on another couch. Over the break here, we're going to clean the studio out and we're going to rearrange some stuff. And it's going to be a different look at that, but I think I'm going to get better camera angles, better lighting, and everything with what I have in mind. So that's it's always evolving. And even like a few episodes ago, I think it was on the Atwater episode.
Okay,
like I'm still trying to dial in the audio to get it perfect and everything. Trying to, because sometimes it bleeds really bad. You know, I'm trying to negate that, trying to figure out how I can. So it's just a constant work in progress. But going back to your point, it's kind of like we could have talked about it all day. You can talk about working out or doing push-ups, but you're not going to get strong talking about it.
Right.
You know, you
jaw muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that rah-rah.
Rah-rah. Yeah, exactly. But, you know, you just got to do the push-ups sometimes. So when we just turned it on, and then that's kind of how you get better, you know? So,
yeah.
What are some things that you have learned just in the last 2 years of doing this show? I mean,
well, I guess, you know, I'd have to think about what I've learned. That's a good question. But what I've noticed for sure is the bands that are out there doing the thing, and, you know, like they have a little bit of name recognition, some fan following, and they're out there grinding all the time. A lot of those guys come through here, they say the same things that they do behind the scenes. So if you're a listener, I think what I've learned is what this show has become outside of what I thought it was going to be. What I thought it was going to be was just a couple of guys sitting here talking about metal. And I didn't know we were going to get so much traffic of bands coming through here. That wasn't as much the talk in the beginning, right? We were going to talk more about the world, the famous bands and stuff like that. And then we had so many DIY bands, so many independent artists come through here. And a lot of the ones that are successful and growing and getting bigger, they say a lot of the same things. And so what I've learned is that the show is like kind of like unplanned or whatever. It became a think tank for all of these bands to come through here and kind of educate each other, like put it all on the table. This is how we do what we do.
Right.
So all these bands can listen to each other and say, hey, see what they're doing? See the result that they're getting? I think we should try that. Maybe that'll work for us. Maybe that's not our game. But also for like kids, you know, if there's like 12, 13, 14-year-old kids listening, you know, just about to get into high school, just leaving middle school, and they're getting into music like as a real hobby, a passion. They want to pick up a guitar or learn the drums. And we have all these musicians coming through here telling you exactly how they do what they do.
Yep.
So a lot of these kids can listen to what they're saying, in addition to all the YouTube content that you can learn from and the personal lessons that you can take. Here's guys that are doing it in the band on the stage. So you not only learn the craft of your instrument and the inspiration that these guys bring, but you also can see like how to take and bring that to a stage from a band practice to a stage, to a recording studio. So we're giving all of that. I didn't know we were going to do that, Jay. I guess that's what I've learned in 2 years. What we're actually doing is outside of the realm of what I thought we would be doing, which is totally fine. I was like, we'd hang out and talk about metal all day anyway.
And we still do have some of those episodes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like half or more of what we do.
Yeah.
But I love having the bands. I think that was the biggest thing for me is I didn't know we were going to meet so much great talent coming through here. I didn't know that people would want to drive from across the state or beyond or even do Zoom calls with us. Like, who are these guys, right?
Yeah.
But we just keep showing up. And I think that's a big testament to the listeners, too, if you're listening. Like, just a lot of times you don't have to be the best at anything. Nobody's asking anybody to be the best. The best ability is availability.
Yeah.
So if you show up constantly, like you don't have to be great at anything, but what we'll notice is you're dependable and you get better because you keep showing up.
Yep,
and then here we are. We just keep showing up on the Sunday.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we got some people coming through here, so it's been great.
And I think you know, when we first started, and we might even said this on the first episode, it's all about expectations too. It's like kind of didn't really put any expectations on anything either because I didn't want to get drowned out in like these number games where I need to have so many followers or our success is predicated on how many comments or engagement or whatever. You know, we're grinding on the content, but I think it's one of those things where it's like it's still only 2 years in, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it takes 5 years, 7 years, you know. So we just keep showing up on Sunday. We got a lot to talk about. We have so many more ideas that we haven't even covered yet or things we can still do. You know, we're always coming up with new things, maybe even coming up with episodes. And sometimes we have to scrap it and say that it's a great idea, but maybe it just doesn't look good on, you know, for an hour 30 combo or whatever that looks like, you know.
Well, we've been doing this now long enough, only 2 years, but we've talked so much over that 2 years that we have so many more ideas than we can even execute as two people.
Absolutely.
So there's always room on board the ship.
Yeah.
We just got to figure that out, what that would look like and who that would be and what they would do.
Yeah.
But we're kind of like maxed out with what we can do other than keep creating new ideas and maybe swap them out with some of the old ideas. That we're like, well, this doesn't really track as well as we'd like. So let's shift into something else. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ideas. And we are just growing, I guess. And I think for me, with the numbers game thing, I hate it. I don't even like thinking about it. Like sometimes I'll look at, well, how did this post do? Because you do want to know if you're even getting any engagement at all.
Absolutely.
And you want to, but I wouldn't look at it and say only this many views. I would just compare views of a reel maybe to views of another reel. Like this one was successful. Well, what time of day, what day?
Yeah.
You know,
use it as a
who shared it, like how what was good about that one versus why this one didn't take off. So that's about as far as I'd like to go with it. Is just how to get a more consistent, elevated number of views. But at the same time, I'm not like trying to target a number or grow the numbers like, you know, intentionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like with as my main focus.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm always just like, what's a good subject to talk about? Like, what are we gonna blab on about today or next week or whatever? So
I think that gets lost in content creation or, you know, any kind of music or endeavor.
Yeah, even the artists, they're like looking at Spotify numbers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If that's your main goal, like, you want people to listen. We would like people to listen. We would like to, you know, we put a lot of work into it, but we also try to give as much value to people and the listener as possible too, and just not only with the bands or hopefully our discussions raises some questions or awareness or engagement in other people's mind that enjoy metal, right? So if we stay true to what we're doing, then the numbers should rise because we're going to keep getting better and we'll be able to give out better product, you know? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I check it here and there, but it's not one of those things where it's like, you know, hey, we did this, we did that, because we've had some really good videos.
Yeah.
We've had some stuff that's really knocked out of the park, and then we've had some stuff that's not
just flown in. Just flown in under the radar. Wasn't really noticed. It's fine. And when you are consistent, I think that might happen. I don't know if it's like a Metal Maniacs fatigue among the listeners, or maybe you just get an artist on here that just doesn't have enough of a following.
That's some of it too. Yeah.
Vis-a-vis, within our following or our culture. Yeah. So, we could have a great artist come through here, but maybe it doesn't resonate too much with some of the audience. It's hard to even know, like pin down what's going to make sense. If we knew, we would continue to grow a lot faster, but that's not, growth is always, a desire, but it can't be the main focus, right? You can't be like outcome driven, right? We talk about that a lot. Yep. You got to sit down and write the music because you love writing the music. And then whatever happens after that is just kind of almost luck. You can grind and hustle a lot and elevate your art to a larger audience, but at the same time, you can also just continue to crank out art. We're going to have a guy come through here, 10 albums in his pocket, not a lot of people know, but we'll give him a platform today.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the point is, the dude just keeps making art.
Yep.
You just keep showing up.
Until somebody recognizes it, right? And then,
And I'm a big advocate of saying, like, stay in your lane, stay patient, your turn will come.
Absolutely.
Certain styles of music, as I said before, they see a resurgence. They're not popular now. They'll be popular later. Right. So just keep doing the thing that you love doing, and then wait your turn, I think.
I think a big thing is, from what I've learned over the last few years, is just even in outside life, trying to figure out how to get my points across more clearly and not trying to interrupt people and actually try to listen to people, because there's a flow of a conversation. I think that's a big thing that I've learned. And then it's even translated outside of here as well. Like, you got to try to be, like, for me, I'm like, I need to be a better listener. I need to not think about the next thing I'm going to say. And just jump right into some, sometimes you kind of get that banter because you both might have the same idea, or you're laughing and ideas come across. That's part of the conversation, but it's just the whole, like, be patient and listen to somebody, especially when we have other people come through. You and I, we could talk. We'll talk for 5 hours down here, and then we can go talk for 2 hours outside. So we don't have a problem. Like, we could talk forever, but then when you get other people and other personalities, the biggest thing is just kind of listen, and then, we're here to put them on a platform. So sometimes I'll listen to some of the episodes back and I'm like, did I over talk that? Was I too, did I make it about me too much? And I don't try to do that because it's not really ever about me. Obviously it's our show.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it's just us, it's going to be about us. But, when it's about the guests, I want it to be about the guests. So them are just things, just navigating those conversation pieces and some of those ideas with people, and.
Yeah. No, I feel that too. When we get 4 people in the room and I'm a co-host of a show, now there's like 5 other people that come before me and I'm a motor mouth. Like, I can really just blah, 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 especially when I'm, five cups of coffee deep into my morning.
Yacked up on that coffee, boy.
So a lot of times I'll have thoughts. They'll just be driving through my head like a highway of thoughts. Just bzz, bzz. Nope. The conversation will have turned left, right so many times that sometimes I'm juggling a few things I want to say, but I'm holding them back because I got to actively listen to what the conversation is, and I don't want to pull in a conversation thread from 5 minutes ago. We're not there anymore. So a lot of times I find I leave a lot of good material on the conversation moved. So I'll have notes, and then I'll just be crossing out things that I didn't get to ask bands. No, that is an art form, right? We talk about the art of the conversation.
Right.
And active listening is huge. You're always trying to make sure that you're comprehending what the person's saying instead of just going to, yesterday I had a tuna fish lunch. It was dynamite. Like, you should have been there, bro. Like, dude, get in the conversation. Get in my boat, please. And when you've got a bunch of people here, you got to make sure that they have the floor first.
Yes, absolutely.
So sometimes the conversation could just move on without you if you don't find a way to jump in there.
And I think that's kind of a skill too, and that's what I try to do as a host, and that you help me out with a lot. Too, is sometimes when you got 4 guys in the room, they know each other. We may not know them. We just met them that day, but they have their inside jokes and they have their, stuff they laugh about, and we don't know anything about that. So getting them back on track as well, just to try to be part of the conversation, is also kind of something that I've had to navigate as well, because sometimes I'm like, well, although sometimes the hangout vibe is cool, we kind of do have a purpose to get through the music.
Yeah.
We're here for a reason, right? Like, it's not just a hangout, even though it is cool to hang out with these guys, but it's not. It's different when we go out in the garage and stand there for 45 or an hour afterwards and just chill and hang out. But
so it's weird because we get a lot of people that know each other and we don't know them at all. And so they come through and they're very social. And so it's always kind of like we have to integrate the whole thing, the 6 of us now, if it's 4 other people, into like this cohesive symbiotic thing. So we have to slowly integrate into that and break the ice and get on board with like why we're all here today. But by the time we're done and the cameras are off and we go up to the driveway, we're all still hanging out for another 30 minutes. Most bands, not because sometimes I have an immediate hard out at 2. I gotta go.
Yeah.
But most bands come through here will tell you like, then we just kicked it for another half an hour or longer up the driveway because
just hanging out.
We just love talking and meeting these people and it's been great because we've met a lot of great people too. So
so I think that's actually a great segue into you want to. Let's just talk about some of the bands that have been on the show over the last 2+ years.
Man,
I got the list right here, so we can just.
I keep a list. I don't know. It's probably on this as well, and I don't know if it's 100% current, but it was like, how many? All right, so do you have the number? How many bands have we had come through here? Let me see if I can pull up my band list.
It's hard to say number 2 because there's bands that have been on here multiple times.
Sure. And all right, here I've got the list.
Or guest host too.
Let me see. Oh God, it's long.
Like I say, I got a list here too. So.
And it's definitely missing some. God. It's so we've had a lot of great bands. Back to the question. I can't. If I name drop a few, there's going to be dozens that are like, "What the fuck, man?"
Well, let's just read through them. We got the whole thing, right? So it started off.
I've got it in alphabetical order. You got it in numerical. How you want to do it?
I basically got it from episode all the way until recent. So we'll just go down there. But the very first one was one of the few that you've missed.
Yeah, it was like episode 2, I think.
Because at that time, we were just getting our bearings down.
Right.
We were just trying to figure out the flow of everything and what that looked like. So we did have Adam from Iron Sharpens Iron on there. But that was like kind of...
Yeah.
I wasn't even playing in the band at the time or anything. Iron Sharpens Iron is a completely different thing at this point.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so when I interviewed him, I wasn't even playing in the band.
Right, okay.
And then we did have Payne Divine on.
Okay.
But we also had one solo episode with McClary.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Yep.
Right? And then If He Dies came on.
The homies.
Yep. And they've been on 3 times as a band.
Yep.
Right? Tiny Tree was on the first year.
Shout out Addison, doing great work everywhere.
No Susception.
Just revisited those boys again. Yep. You'll be seeing them soon.
Go to Kira.
Yep. Some brutal death metal. Lansing area, correct?
Yep.
Grand Rapids.
We just played with them this summer, and so look to have those guys back because I know they got new stuff in the works, and I told them to come back on anytime.
Excited to see how they're
cool.
Yeah.
I like those guys. Drink Their Blood.
Yep.
So that Drink Their Blood. Obviously, cousin ties with Iron Sharpens Iron with Jeff, but very cool music, very interesting. They are their own thing, but very cool. And that was the last one we did just of that first of 2023. Them were all the ones that we packed
3
in.
months.
Yeah. And then 2024 started off the first time we had Eric with the Black Temple on.
Okay.
And then that was the first year of Hoist Fest, so Chantel was on after that.
Okay.
Then we did one of the Zoom calls, Centenary.
Oh, yep. I remember. Yep. I was at home for that one.
And then we did... I
was on the show.
We have Jeff Bryn on. We talked about photography and concert photography with him. So
got some great work. We went out to a gallery that he did up there at Fricano's Plaza.
Yep,
what have
absolutely.
You. And I picked up some really cool artwork from him, some photographs from him. One black and white Chris Cornell. And then a nice, colorful one of Joe Duplantier from Gojira.
Yeah.
So, great shots, Jeff. Great work.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome stuff.
And, that's just things that we tried on the podcast. Have a photographer on, have a videographer on. We got a producer coming on pretty soon that's done some records of bands that we've listened to on the show. So sometimes I like to have things like that are metal or music adjacent as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean...
or another way of putting it is just industry relative.
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
You got to have a photographer at some point along the way if you're doing this for one reason or another, whether it's a band shoot or some artwork for your album.
Yeah.
Or your singles or EPs, right? So you got to have that. So, yeah.
And also Jeff's extensive amount of concerts that he has shot himself. I mean, all of the major stars, that he shot, a lot that aren't even alive anymore. So then the 2024, early 2024, the first time we seen Vestigial on the show, that was a rude awakening for
that one.
I mean, just how fucking awesome they are. I mean,
that one was Okay, that one was an eye-opener for me on a lot of levels because I remember listening to the Vestigial stuff as you're like, hey, we got this band coming through. And I feel like I had heard that band name somewhere floating in the ether of my universe, my experience, right? I'm like, that name just kind of sounded like something. Anyway, I'm listening to it, and I'm like, these guys must be bigger than I know because this is really good stuff.
Yeah.
And it was an experience for me, and I was like, oh, we're getting this kind of talent coming through the show. And yeah, Vestigial was kind of like an eye-opener for me, especially meeting Michael and how much work he does outside of just the music and just the production and all the other things. And I can't wait for what they're about to do.
Yeah.
I've heard some things, and we're going to obviously let them tell their story and roll out their stuff. But yeah, exciting stuff for Vestigial on the horizon. And that one was definitely like a real eye-opener for me in terms of like what kind of talent is out there that I've yet to discover. And that kind of opened up a floodgate. It felt like after that episode, we started getting a lot of bands, more and more bands that surprised the shit out of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Mouthful of Locusts was after that. They premiered one of their songs on the show. What an awesome band they are. Cool dudes. The brothers right there, Perry.
Yep, Perry the homie.
Perry the homie.
Long time in the scene.
And then Phantom.
Yep, I was absent for that one.
That was one you weren't able to make.
It's happened. We try to mitigate that these days more and more. But a band I absolutely love.
Yeah,
and Cody on the kit. You know, he's a homie.
James on guitar.
Yeah, he does a lot of culinary stuff. Both of them actually are culinary.
Yep.
And great musicians, the Doom stuff. So homies, yeah, love that stuff.
And then the same day we actually did 2 interviews that day. I remember that, and McClary bounced in for both of those. And Accuser of the Brethren, and that was the first time they came through.
Okay.
Absolutely love those guys. Those guys, it was just one of those things. And then they came back on, and we'll talk about that, but you got to meet them, and it was just, some people we connect with right away on the show, and those were the dudes that was like, as soon as we hung out, it was like, they're the homies instantly, like they make great music and they're cool as fuck.
Yes.
But just like, it was like, these guys are the homies, it was just cool hanging with them dudes, man. And then
some dudes just kind of bring in that camaraderie vibe immediately. They're just kind of on that friendly tip all the time. They're just good people.
They're like you can be a part of our group.
Yeah,
today,
immediately just welcoming and just personalities that meshed very well easily.
Absolutely.
It was the same for me when I first met them.
Yep.
It was like they already knew me. They're like, oh, we watch you all the time. We already know you get in here.
Yeah.
So they're cool guys for sure.
Awesome. And then See You Next Tuesday, which was kind of a big deal for me because that was a band I heard about for years and years, and they've done things. They've been on tour. They've done so for us. That was kind of one of the first bands that was kind of did things on a bigger level for us, even though they still are from our hometown, or our home state, right? But they were kind of one of the first bands that we were able to reach out that kind of had
and this was
a little more, I don't know.
Gravitas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for me, it was a surprise too, because I'm like, well, that's a really big name. Did we just level up again? Like now we're doing this tier of band, and we went on to do a couple of bands like at that tier kind of, or what have you. But really gracious of them to take the time, do the Zoom call. All of them. We even got the additional 4th member in there by surprise, just coincidentally. Like he was he was traveling through where the drummer lived visa his job.
Yep.
He's working, and he just popped in, and I was like, oh, cool. So that was a really great episode. If any See You Next Tuesday fans out there, check out that episode. That was a fun one. Great guys.
And grindaholics, but super talented, man.
Well, yeah, they're Andy, right, on guitar. Is it Andrew on guitar? See You Next Tuesday?
Oh, no, Drew.
Andrew Drew. Sorry.
Sorry,
Drew.
Maybe his full name is Andrew, but yeah.
Sorry if you don't go by those other two.
Yeah.
Drew. What an incredible musician.
Dude.
Like, what an out-of-this-world alien of a guitarist. And I'm stuck on, like, I told you this, I think. He like, posted, he does this often. He posted a reel of himself playing, like, a 6-second riff. And the tabs are flying across. And I watched this thing looped. Like, like 20, 30 times. And I'm just like, is it a song? Is it a riff? Is it a fill? What is this, Drew? But it was so complicated.
Yeah.
It was so massively complicated. I was like, whatever it is, though, it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great piece of art for 6 seconds. And I can loop it and I can watch it. And I'm just like amazed by it every single time. So if you guys like grind and tech, check out See You Next Tuesday. They're obviously fire.
Yeah, Drew's a beast. So yeah, maybe Andrew. I'm sorry. At first, I was like Andrew. Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry, sir.
Nope. Then Re-Corruptor came through for the first time. Another cool ass band that we just. I mean, that was just when Clint and Seth came over. But man, they were super funny, super cool dudes to hang out with. Love those dudes and love their music. Their trajectory is looking good for them. So
yeah, great, funny guys. Love them.
Yep.
Just my comment on them is keep going, guys. Love what you're doing and happy for you. Just stay the course, stay grinding, keep writing that good music.
Yep, absolutely.
Love
and
meeting
then
them.
Dawn of Agony had them come through.
Yep.
Then Cavalcade.
Was that a Zoom?
That was a Zoom.
Okay. Yeah, it was Sean Peters.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Great guy. Great artist.
Then Rip Van Ripper, their first appearance on the show.
Yep, remember meeting them. Great stuff. Love their music.
Cool dudes. After Midnight, the kids from Kazoo, they came through.
Yep.
And then we had a Zoom call with Adam Cody from Glass Casket. So that was like a big thing for me, just being a Glass Casket fan and being able to reach out. And that was gracious of him. I know we had to reschedule that, but it was cool that he came on. THV, then they came through. Yep. So that was
my boy Ed.
Yep, Ed. And then
Evan as well. I'm sorry, my brain just totally blanked for a second there. Evan's the man. They're both
Evan and Ed came on.
Yeah, they're both amazing musicians. For a 2-piece. It's crazy.
Then we had the Almighty Throne on, which was a big deal for me, just because I've just been a fan of those guys and just a fan of Nate and a fan of Colin, and it was cool that they both came through because just superior musicians, and their brand of death metal is just something that I really, really enjoy. Like just music that just really resonates with me.
Yeah, big fan of Les's work on the bass guitar in that band as well. Just all phenomenal musicians and great death metal, just angry and in your face.
And then we had Zion Bittenbender on the show, so kind of figured out or learned about him online basically, and knew he had a band. I know there's controversy surrounding him, but y'all can decide what you want to. We don't.
Yeah, we
just thought he was a sweet vocalist, and that's all we knew about. So we'll leave it at that. Really. I mean,
no comment on any of the news, but saw an ad or a sponsored Instagram reel of him doing vocals, and I just was like, oh, what a crazy vocalist, and shot you a message. You're like, cool, and we immediately just like hit him up for an interview, and that was that. And then beyond that, like, best of luck.
And then at the end of August, so that was kind of like the end of year one, basically.
Okay.
Like, we had those few at the end of 2023, but if you kind of count 2024 as the full year that we did it, but August 2024 we had Necrium on, so that kind of bridged that whole year there.
Okay.
Necrium, the homies, super great musicians. And then in September, like 2024, right? That's when Kill Tomorrow came on.
Okay.
So trying to get a hold of those guys for a long time. We've mentioned their name. You can't say Muskegon Metal or even Michigan Metal without saying Kill Tomorrow. Just been one of the most consistent, or at least bands that have been doing it the longest without so many member changes and everything.
Yeah, I think it's the same core. It's been since the beginning, and just one or two member changes at one or two spots, like rhythm guitar maybe a little bit, and some bass when they have had bass.
And you can go listen to the episode, but they've just fallen into the symptoms that every other person has that's in their 40s and still trying to do music. It's like we do it when we have time, but we have so many other things going on.
Yeah.
So it's like they never really go away, but they're also not always out there all the time either.
Right.
So it's just, one of those things where.
Well, they got a healthy routine of getting together and jamming, whether or not they're, creating a ton of content and dropping albums or singles or not. The thing with that band is that, like you said, they haven't gone anywhere. They're not leaving. They're not quitting. They're not giving up. They'll be there. And yet, as we well know, that they're going to be on this show coming up in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So they're still doing the thing, man. And we love them for it. And they throw the fuck down every single time.
Absolutely. Then we had Mike, the homie from Haunted Acres on. So that was kind of a cool little different thing. And we actually went and experienced Haunted Acres. I think we talked about that
at length.
In a different episode, but that was fun.
Yeah.
Then Dies was on again, so that was like their third time, I think, at that point they were on. Alfonso from Heartsick, we got the Zoom call with him, so that was really cool. I still would like to get them guys in the room. Another band that I didn't really give a whole lot of time of day to and just knew about, but then when I listened to it, I was like, damn, these guys are good, man. Like, good. Like, holy shit, good. Like,
So they're kind of on that same level as Kill Tomorrow. The only thing is that they went through that name change, right? It was No Life.
Oh,
and then it became Heartsick. So they also have that longevity. They've been out there grinding forever. And the proof is in the pudding when you're going down south to do mini tours with like Nonpoint several times over. And, you know, like they've done a lot of great work. They've done the touring. They've done the thing. Very successful band. You can go back and listen to our episode with Alfonso and hear about his advice, making it professionally in this and what it takes and what it means, what you got to do. He had a lot of good insight.
Definitely. Then the Dangerville podcast, those guys came on. Them were the homies, Ross.
Hilarious. Did a couple of episodes with them on their podcast, so you can go see us there too. And that's a little bit more raw, unfiltered, and wild.
Yeah. Talking about everything under the sun. A little bit of music stuff. But,
it was bonkers.
So Ross and Shay from the Dangerville podcast. And then Reinventing came on to talk about their reunion show, which they're also coming around on this show in a few weeks here. Then Vestigial came back on again to promote I believe that was one of their promoting the last album that they dropped, which was another phenomenal piece of music.
Yes.
Then one that I ended up doing by myself, but I got to talk with Mike from Wounded Touch.
Okay. Yep.
On Zoom call. That's another band I would like to have in the room. At least a couple of the guys and go through, because they've been doing it for a long time too. And I mean, they're playing big shows, Furnace Fest, and all this different stuff. So they're on a pretty big level too. So I'd love to really get in the room and go over their catalog with them. So hopefully I can make that happen this year. That'd be nice to get those guys over here.
Hell yeah.
Then Addison, Eilers.
Yep.
This was like, I think it was before he was in Tongue Cutter. We were just talking to him about his production and Tiny Tree, a little bit of this, that, and the other thing. I remember that being a real insightful episode. And anytime I get the chance to talk to Addison or Chantel or any of our friends, those are just really special episodes to me, because it's just, we've known each other for so long and we can get a little deeper too. We don't really just have to go over the surface music stuff. You know, we kind of know more about each other. So
yeah, that was a deep episode, as I recall. And Addison was really open and vulnerable on that one. And he really let us know all the things he was going through. And now we get to look at, you know, how far he's come. It's kind of a nice little marker for him in that point in his life. And to see where he's at now. It's a great site.
Then Eric from Black Temple came back on. We listened to some songs. The Sissy Boys, man, the guys are going crazy right now. They were gracious enough to come through. A couple of the guys we talked a little bit about. Man, they're just going. They're getting after it, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They've amassed a crazy following over a short amount of time. Some young guys experiencing some success and having a lot of fun, and a lot of people having fun out at their shows too. So good on them.
Absolutely. Then Hoist Fest 2. Big part of that year. Chantel came back on. We interviewed Slugchild, R.I.P. Then the Annex Void came through all the way from across the state. What a cool band they are. Super nice people too. Accuser of the Brethren came back on. You got to meet them that time. They promoted their new EP. And Still the Homies. Then we had we did the Credit Union show. I was trying to remember.
Nick Sandy,
yeah. His name escapes me. It's just all these names. I'm trying to think of all these names. It's a catalog of people. But yeah, Nick Sandy was on from the Credit Union. He talked about his venue. Very gracious dude with being able to let you use his building and have shows there.
Just a great asset to have in the community for upstarting bands.
And then we had Funeral Language on, which was Alex Eilers, which is Addison's brother, and it's more of a solo project, but man, he goes crazy online. His music's super good, and he's got a lot of content he's putting out all the time, and he's just a grinder too, even though he makes like the solo band thing. He wants to get it as a full band, but it would be a great band, but what a talented dude he is. Then Tongue Cutter, the band, came through, which was Addison and Chantel. Then that's when I realized the camera situation needed to be switched, because Addison sat there and he was way too tall and put my shit out of focus the whole time. So that's the little things you learn still after 60 episodes or whatever, or 80 at that point. Then He Who Dwells from Grand Rapids, cool metalcore dudes. Bronson Arm came through, man. Those guys were like super awesome dudes too, man. That was a great conversation hanging with those guys for a few hours.
Yeah, and that's another one where the cameras kind of shut off, and then we just hung out down here and talked for another 45 minutes. It felt like a whole other episode. And I remember Garrett was like, "You guys should have a B-roll. The camera should be on. Like we should still be recording this." Like he had a good point.
Splinters came through, some young dudes really out there getting after it.
Love
super pissed, but yeah, really nice dudes too. Let It Rock came through. They got a lot of big things happening.
Yeah, great music.
They're out there grinding too, so give them a follow. Recorruptor came back through, promoted their new album, and this is one thing, I said this on the No Deception podcast, but one big thing I love about doing the shows when these bands share their music with us beforehand and we get to peep it out and then we get to talk to them.
Yeah.
And I've been yet to be disappointed, and I don't know how I'd handle that if I was, but I'm overly surprised every time and rewarded. But the new Recorruptor album, when we listened to it before it came out, I was like, this thing is incredible, man. So those guys deserve all the success as well, so hopefully they can keep grinding it out and do it. Then Iron Sharpens Iron came on, the whole band. We talked about some new music and that. We had Steve and Ken from the Michigan Metal Fest on shortly after that. So
Steve Maple, shout.
So hopefully we'll be working with them a little bit more going forward. First time we had Lucius Fox on.
Okay.
The homies, badass musicians, so cool. Those guys were, again, I don't know, maybe it's a Kalamazoo thing, I don't know, but them also, like, as soon as they walked in the door, it was like, oh, they're the homies.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We're
the
waiting.
same people.
Great energy from those two guys. Great musicians. If you like instrumental music that has a lot of ups and downs, the whole roller coaster, twists and turns, genres, moods, great stuff. Check out Lucius Fox from Kalamazoo. You'll love it, I promise.
So good, dude. And then we had Living Dissection on. What a cool-ass band they are. What great musicians they are. Super awesome dudes.
Crazy.
Then we got to have a conversation with TJ Miller from Still Remain /Glassfield, which was really cool because of just all of Still Remain's success, and now they're out there touring Europe and selling sold-out shows right now. So it was really cool to talk to him before that, and he even let us listen to the song that they put out before they even put it out.
Yep.
We sat here in the room and listened to it with him. Super nice dude. So that was really cool too.
Great guy. I loved his story. Guy that, again, you talk about another tier of band. He's been out there doing the thing, touring, and he's had success, and he's just another guy like us. Though, end of the day, it's like, yeah, I got this band and it's got some success, but I also, can't be out there touring world tours like he said, was offered a record deal or whatever. And they were like, well, I don't think we can really take that because we're not the touring, traveling kind of band anymore. But, TJ, great guy, great work. Love Still Remains.
Oh, yeah.
Love Glassfield.
Dude, Still Remains is so good. Dude.
Underrated, honestly. I mean, they're in that style of music where maybe there were some bands like them, but they still kill it. And great musicians. So
I live by me saying that I can't remember the exact album name, but when I listened to
Love and Lunacy, the first one,
the second one, or the third one,
the blue one.
Yeah, I still stand by. That's one of the best metalcore records I've ever heard. Period. Like, there's so much good stuff on that. I can't remember what it's called, but
and it's just, I think it's a matter of like maybe not being on the Roadrunner label.
Yeah,
it's
just
it is what it is.
Release.
But we're here to tell you, like, if you love Still Remains but hadn't heard their third release, like, get on that and then get amped up for whatever they're about to drop on you, in addition to the new single.
Absolutely,
because you're gonna like it. It's a great album.
And then we had Decedent come through, some young cats, super fucking good, man. Really cool too. I got to hang out with them when we played with them a few weeks back too, just to actually hang out and bro down. Then we had Mets Fire come through. What a good rock band, great hooks, cool music they put out.
Hard rock / metalcore, definitely on the radio pop friendly side in terms of song structure, but they also had like some progressive elements. I'm a big sucker for. I love that band a lot.
Yeah.
Again, you're not going to get the deathcore breakdowns there, but you are going to get some riffs and you're going to get some choruses, and it's
great songs. Great songs. Listen to that.
Great melody, great atmosphere. Love that band. I think Atmosphere was said on that episode a lot too.
Yeah, for sure.
It was an Atmosphere band.
And then that kind of completed that year, and then since then we've had Lucius Fox back on to promote their newest album.
Death and Life of the Great Lakes.
Yes,
correct.
Oh, man, what an awesome album that was.
What an emotional journey.
Yeah, dude, that blew me out.
That one caught me by surprise. I didn't expect it to have, especially for an instrumental. I really didn't expect to have such a visceral, emotional reaction to it on more than one occasion. I'm like, man, every time I sit here and get into this album, it dominates my emotional state. I'm just like, wow. But so that's a testament to Jeremy writing music that resonated with him, that was real to him, and it had real like meaning
Yep.
besides just writing a good melody that sounds good.
Right.
Like Jeremy was writing with purpose
Yes.
and, like deep conviction. So that resonated. So when you write from that source, great outcome, man.
Yeah.
Captivating.
The whole story he had, all of the stories behind it, his lyrics, and just how personal it was, man. Freaking phenomenal.
Yeah. Good. We're still in love with it,
Christ,
Jeremy.
dude.
Great work. Thank you so much for that one.
Then the homie Dane came through, Dane Hammerly,
Yes.
of If He Dies, currently basically more or less full-time in Verve Pipe. Really talked about the drummer's life and what it takes to be a pro drummer, making it off your art for the most part.
Currently Mother and Son Hardcore, correct? Mother and Son Hardcore.
Yep, MASH. Yep. And then Ross Morgan from the Dangerville podcast came back through with Mike Nolan and their project Long After Midnight, which this is another one that really surprised me of what they put out. I really like this album, dude. I listened to it multiple times. I was like, holy shit, this is really good. Is it metal? There's a couple of riffs on it, but it's not metal. No. But for electronic or that style of music, they did an amazing job to me.
And this is one of those things too where it's certainly not going to be for everyone that's a metalhead or likes metal music. However, we know that there's going to be fans of music that like metal that are going to like this too, because it's not so far a departure. We're not trying to sell you ska music. We're not trying to sell you some bluegrass, or country. You didn't bring that through here. Ross is an amazing producer, an amazing musician. This is going to sound a little bit more like some dark, groovy electronic rock, and like you said, there's some riffs on it, but just
9 Inch Nails, KMFDM.
Yeah, a lot of those things,
So it's adjacent.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's a really great mood for people who like dark music. Go check out Long After Midnight with Ross and his working part. Was it Ryan? I forget the name.
Mike.
Mike. Mike.
Which Mike also is in Mets Fire.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. So, great. Both great bands.
And then we had the exact opposite of Long After Midnight, which was Tunnel of Love, power violence, 18 minutes of fucking just fuck you
anger.
Music. Yeah. And that's another Jeremy McClary band, but
Righteous Anger.
But that was another awesome session afterwards. It's always cool hanging out with Jeremy anytime we can. He's been on the show so many different times, and for different reasons, we try to get him on here as much as we can for any reason we can.
Yeah, that was a front yard driveway hangout that lasted for another 45 minutes. The only thing missing from that conversation was a hacky sack.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
we even talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool hanging out with them. And then one with the Riverbed, super cool. Another atmosphere, but black metal, very cool band.
When we discovered that band was coming onto the show, that was a band name I hadn't heard of. We had so many bands come through. I thought we had them all. I thought we Pokemon collected all the bands. But then you turned that name over to me, and I was like, oh, better get hip to it. And that's one that I dove right into it head first and just binged 3 albums in a row. And I just came out of that a mega super fan, especially the way that they do things and how they orchestrated their own 8-day run just recently down south. Like, great episode if you're trying to get your band from doing local venues to the next thing, which would be starting to get more regional success. Watch that episode, listen in, because there's some great advice there on how to get. It's just about that grind and networking. You have to build that part of your game too.
Absolutely,
and that was a good example of that.
And then we got a chance to interview Casket Robbery, which was a big deal for me.
Me too.
What a great band they are, and they're also kind of more on that regional level where we kind of talked about where we'd like to have more conversations with some bands that are doing more tours and be able to,
that's one element of the show I'd like to see happen in 2026, as well as some of the bands we've already had come through here break into that regional. From
Absolutely.
where like they're kind of like they're right there. Some of these bands that we have come through here, and they are doing all the things that it takes, but there's no substitute for time. You just have to keep going and grinding and getting into those venues and those cities more and more to get into that regional tier.
Absolutely. And then Atwater came through that one. Hell yeah. They rule. They absolutely rule. Their music is so freaking good. Another band that I was familiar with, and then we did play a show with them, but I just didn't really kind of dive into their music. We did listen to one song, as a handful of these bands, if not more, we were discovered by sending us a reaction.
Yep. There were a band who
to react to.
I saw their name coming up on a lot of flyers for some of the bands that we had already engaged with, had on the show or listened to their music, and their names kept turning up on flyers. And Rob, I believe, very active on the social media. You could see there was a lot of activity with this band, and they kind of had my attention. And then ultimately, you listen to the song and like, oh, geez, it's really good. Get in here now. And those dudes are gracious enough to make the drive over from Detroit area, correct? And great band. Just love what they're doing. Keep your eye out on them. They're new, but they're really good. So watch for them to pop off.
And then basically,
that's really close to current. Who did we just have on? We had No Suspicion again.
Yeah, but their episode won't be out before this because their album don't come out. So I guess the only other one is Neverender. We had those guys on, and they were super fucking awesome. So that episode will be out by the time this one comes out. So
yeah, great guys.
Great guys. Super cool band. They've been doing it for a long time too. And
other incarnations of that band, other band names. But once this thing happened, it's the way that they told their story. It just clicked immediately. Everybody was on board with it, and they're all like really good, close homies that enjoy hanging out with each other. And again, similar situation as Atwater, a name where just I started seeing the name more and more on flyers and with some really good names. And I'm like, how have I not heard of this band? And then you finally you dig a little deeper and you listen to the music and you're like, oh, get on the show. Yeah. You're so fucking good. Yep. And that's another band. Got them right here. We're repping them today as well.
Yeah. In a roundabout way, I didn't realize that we, as Infinite Design, in one form or another, did play with both of these guys' bands too that were in that band, Mike's and Ted's. They were in different bands. And we played with them at some time along the way in Infinite Design. So, but you just don't meet every musician in every band you ever play with. So. So that if you've been a band and you've been on this show in any which way, especially if you've been on it in multiple ways, or if you've been on it when we first started and you believed in our dumb little podcast or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's dumb. I love it, but you can call it whatever you want. But yeah, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for giving us hours and hours of music to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, first of all of these musicians, all these bands we've had on. Great work. It puts a feather in my hat knowing that I'm listening to all of this music that is so good that is yet to be discovered by the masses. And it makes me kind of sad that, there's a lot of good music here. Who knows who's going to get more reach, right? Who knows who's going to get the bigger fan base, but I am proud that I have heard all of this music. I'm proud of all of these artists that have put together all of this music over the time it's taken, years, decades even in some cases, to put out this music for us to discover and listen to that I would have never heard.
Absolutely.
Honest to God, guys, I don't get out to a whole lot of shows, but now I do more because I have a reason to.
Right.
Like a lot of these old, long in the tooth bands been doing it forever. I don't know if I want to see a 50-year-old version of that. Maybe it's okay, but sometimes I want to see the fire, the hunger, the youth come through here and just kill it on a stage with purpose and conviction. And the bands that we've had come through here, a lot of them have that hunger and they bring it to the stage, and that's really fun to see.
Absolutely.
What a wealth of music we've had come through here, regional, local to the state. Just really happy to discover all this and share it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we've helped in some small way.
Yep. Hopefully.
It's a small platform, but I think it's cool to create content for them. Like we all these reels that we've put out sharing their music and their interview clips, like I hope it's having an impact. I hope somebody watches it and says, all right, what's this band about? And goes over. And I mean, I know we've had to have had that impact. I'd like it to be 10X or 100X.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's even a good, segue into, like feedback of the show. I've had some feedback on the show of like, I didn't ever know about this band until A, B, and C. Or I'll see one of these bands and I'll see somebody that listens to the show all the time, or, comments or, communicates with us through different mediums. They'll be on that band's pages talking, like, oh, this song is so sick or whatever. So I've seen that. So that's like,
nice,
even if it's one or two people, but I've had messages, hey, this band is super sick. I'm glad you guys had them on or whatever. So I think end of day, we're making some small impact. And with all of these bands, like you said, it's cool to share all this content and make this content and hopefully be impactful. And it's also nice to kind of like make almost a time capsule for these bands.
I was just going to go there with that.
Yeah.
Time capsule was my next thought. I was like, it's nice to have some of this stuff recorded as a keepsake for down the line for whatever the future holds. You don't know.
Right.
Whether you blow up or you just completely give up on music or move out of music, whatever. It'll be nice to have that memory, that keepsake you can pull up 10 years later. And that was a good time in life.
Yeah.
Like that was fun. We were doing the thing and having a lot of fun.
And we talked about all the songs, and we've logged all of the music.
Yeah.
We've talked about all the releases. How'd you get started? Like
we document like entire processes of albums. Like writing, recording for all people and for the band members themselves to kind of remember. Yeah, I remember when we did that, and then thankfully we didn't do that again.
Right.
Or I'm glad we had so much success with that, and that person who helped us engineer our album became such a close friend of ours, and so there's a lot of that time capsule element to the podcast as well. Yep. Some of it's hard to watch back, really older stuff, because you're always growing, and the show itself gets so much better with the production and everything as time goes. So it's kind of hard to watch it in a certain context, but it's always going to be fun to go back and watch like a clip of a reel where we're all laughing.
Yep.
Like
absolutely, dude.
So we've had some great people come through here, shared some great laughs, and heard some great stories.
Yep. But yeah, as far as feedback goes, and then we've dealt with anytime you put yourself out there, or put content out there, or put anything out there, you're gonna have to deal with the fucking weirdos too. People that just because you put an opinion out there about something and they don't agree with you, they might instantly go to the insults, or might instantly go to the calling names, or you don't know what you're talking about, and it's just like the good and the bad all come, right? You got the guys that are like, I discovered this band from your show, and you're like, okay, cool, that's what the show is about. Then you got the guys that swear at you because we're
different opinions,
joking around about an album I didn't like of Ozzy. Not that I don't love most of all Ozzy stuff, even shit that, and then to turn around and be a hypocrite in the comments and say some weird off the wall shit like right afterwards. So it's always like who you dealing with. At first it kind of got to me because I do see every comment, and I would love to take the feedback like, hey, this episode didn't sound that good. Could you guys like fix that audio? Or the camera angle was kind of weird. Maybe you should think about that. I'm open and receptive to that. But hey, you're a fucking idiot because you don't like my favorite A, B, and C. Then that's kind of like, what are we doing here, man?
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I learned this from a guy in the kitchen. And he said, when I learned that energy is at a premium, is the moment I realized who and who not to give it to. You only got so much energy. Now, if you take the time and energy to like go after somebody online, well, that's you. Now, if I take and give that back, that's me. Yeah. So sometimes I don't want to give that back. Sometimes I'm going to be like, ha ha, and move on.
Right.
Because I just don't want to like, and no, was it Mark Twain or something? Never argue with a fool.
Yeah.
People, onlookers won't be able to tell the difference.
Right.
Or never argue with an idiot because they'll drag you down to their level and then they'll beat you with experience. Yeah. So those two things I always think about when somebody's giving me grief online, and that won't stop me from like going after somebody at some point. Right. But with respect to the show, like, hey, criticism is one thing, lighting, mics, visuals, whatever, all that, fine. I get you. But like to come after the opinions is like, well, I got opinions too, but now I'm kind of handcuffed to like, I can't come after you because for the sake of the show, it would be a really bad look to like just go after people, right? But also like the thick skin, right? It just grows over time, and you're like, well, more and more time goes on, not just the show, but just life in general, people, social media. It's not even about a thick skin or giving people energy. It's just kind of like represent yourself. That's you, not me. Like that's your whole life. That's your if you're full of this piss and vinegar and you got to spill it online all the time, I get it. I'm probably guilty of it too. But we're just two people here listening to metal. So over here in Metal Maniacs, it's really not that deep.
Right.
Like it's deep in a way because it's a passionate hobby and everybody loves music. But we don't got to get like nasty about it in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're gonna like different music. We're all, even metalheads. Metalheads are super passionate about music, which is why the gatekeeping is so prevalent. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just listen to music in passing. It's just kind of like part of their day.
Yeah.
You get up, you take a shower, you put on some music, you get ready. But we listen to it with like the furrowed brow, intentionally. We get the grumpy face. We like connect to it. We get super passionate and like obsessed with it almost. And so that's why opinions are always so strong in the metal community. Because I'm not saying other musicians aren't passionate, but because of this style of music, because of the energy and the intensity level, a lot of times our passion resonates as just headbutting like, and then name calling and all this stuff that
then
it gets,
you start getting nasty.
It gets kind of ugly, but
and also the one thing I've always, and I got to keep in mind, and I've been way better at it, and I don't want to go back at people, but my first rebuttal is just always, well, then do it on your podcast if you can do it better. I'm like, you're not doing, like, winners don't leave negative comments because they're too busy trying to do shit.
Yeah.
So, it's like you want to respond because we want to be engaging with people, our audience, but then also you see like the shitty comments. Sometimes more it's just like a block, Some dude was calling us posers because we didn't want to mosh at 40 and we came on the show and said that. And I'm just like,
I did my moshing.
I'm a poser because I don't want to break my arm at 40. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like you said, look at the source. Like, is that something you're going to carry with you, having a broken tooth when you're 40 because you moshed, or a broken nose or something? Like, no. I mean, no, I'm good on that. I'm not a poser. I used to mosh. I used to do all of that.
Yeah.
And it's, if we misspeak, if we say the wrong album,
or,
I suck at pronouncing stuff. I'm sorry. It's just a thing. So, sorry I didn't say, Trey's name perfectly on the Morbid Angel episode. I gave you as much information and studied the shit out of that episode, but I didn't know how to say his name, and that's what I said. But then some dudes roasted me. Don't even know how to say his name. I'm turning this off right now. It's like, okay, Mr. Vernacular, like you're so versed in the English language that you know every syllable and never pronouncing anything wrong ever in your whole life. It's never heard. What are we doing here?
Well, first, I this is an era where, some video exists, I'm sure, of him saying his name properly, and I'd have to go and learn that. I'd have to watch, but I've never been that deep of a Morbid Angel fan to where I'm like watching every like rare interview on film that exists from the 90s, right? Yeah. So I've never had the luxury of hearing Trey pronounce his own last name. I think it's Aziktote.
Yeah, that's what we came up with. Yeah.
Okay, so but Chuck, we used to call him Chuck Schuldiner.
Yeah,
forever. It was Chuck Schuldiner.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it looked on paper. I never heard. We're in the 90s. There's not a lot of footage to read up and see on the guy, right? Well, eventually I discover an interview where he introduces himself as Chuck Schuldiner. But then they talk about all the different ways that his name was made fun of. Chuck Schooldiner. And all these other things.
Yeah.
We don't know, and we don't speak foreign languages. We do our best, but I'm fascinated that we get music from all over the world.
Yeah.
Germany, Greece.
Yep.
I think we've had, several others from various. We got to get the world map. We got to get that's got to be a thing.
Yeah, that got to be a thing. Yeah, that'll be a what's next thing.
We'll go back, but we're gonna misspeak. We're gonna not have all the facts all the time. I know. Yeah. I mean, hey, give up, quit, stop doing a podcast. We're not here to put out the news.
Yeah,
we're not trying to source everything out for you. I kind of did that in the beginning with some of the biographical stuff that we're doing, the biographies, but I was like, it's a lot of work. It's just a podcast. Like, if you disagree with me or if my facts are incorrect, you can feel forward to offer a correction.
Yeah,
but
we'll take that.
I think this is another thing I was thinking of this morning too, or recently. Like, you always keep in mind we don't have the same shared experience. All of us,
right.
None of us do. In fact, we only each individual has our own experience to go from. So I don't know all of the things that Jason knows, and we know a lot of the same things. So I'm certainly not going to know what a random stranger on the internet knows.
Right.
I'm just not going to have all of that information.
Yep.
I'm going to have my own bag of random facts and trivia over here.
Yeah.
So we always got to kind of press the pause button before you go to that person is insult, because they don't know what I know. Well, I know some things that you don't know.
Right.
So we could go down that.
And
we can
you're
sit
not
here
going to know everything either,
So, we've definitely been called out. Thank you to the people that call us out kindly and correct us, because it's going to happen, and we appreciate that. I know I said a Lamb of God track. I got the wrong track. I knew I was a track one from one album, and I misspoke. I said the wrong track one from the wrong album.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's just
both track ones are bangers.
Yeah.
So I got one mixed up with the other.
Yeah.
And I was called out for it, but no big deal. It happens.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, hey, Mod, where's your head? Is your head in the game? I know a lot of metal. Sometimes I don't do much metal.
Right, and that's the thing. You're trying to juggle all that.
It's like things.
I just don't know where we come from sometimes. Like, dude, I'm a human. I'll make mistakes, and I'll go back and say I did wrong. And if you can change my mind, that's fine. Because I'm open and receptive to that. But don't call me an insult because I don't know how to say someone's name. It just seems like all of a sudden you're Mr. Perfect. You've never made a mistake before in your life. about anything. Like, give yourself some grace. Give me some grace. It's like we're trying our best out here.
Yeah.
No one knows what the fuck they're doing. So,
yeah, I mean,
we're all doing our best here, boy.
Yeah. Usually too, and I do this to myself as well. When it gets to that, when I'm feeling like I got to go after somebody, I don't always do it. A lot of times I might even type something and I'll backspace it because I'm like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll look at myself and I'll say, why am I letting this person get the best of me right now? And then, so a lot of times I'll be like, I'm not even giving it the energy. Sometimes I put something out there, I might ruffle some feathers or rattle a cage, and then I'll see I got a comment and I'm like, they could be on my side. They might not be on my side. That was a pretty radical comment I just left on this page.
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and just unfollow that link and not get another notification from it, because I don't really want to give that energy. I got something out of me. Maybe I didn't go after somebody. Maybe I spoke to an idea.
Yeah.
And I said, here's my thoughts on this idea. And then here comes, everybody with their pitchforks because they don't like my feelings or my opinion on a thought.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll just send and drop and then walk away and then just leave it be, because I don't want to get mixed up on social media with people. Let's just try and keep all of that. Like, if you're coming onto our page and correcting us, let's just keep it cool. So
we'll take corrections
because we'll keep it cool with you. Like, we're pretty laid back guys. And again, just to reiterate, it's a music metal podcast. It really shouldn't be all that deep to where we're like trying to hurt each other's feelings because we don't all agree on the same things, or we have misspoke or had some incorrect information. Like, let's just all go about this thing as a community and support each other like that, because that's really what we're here to do, is just talk about music, have a good time, bring some smiles, have some laughs, have some cool music discovery,
build some community,
and meet some cool people.
Absolutely. So, any favorite moments over the last few years? Like, any specific favorite moments for you?
Oh man, I like a lot of the hanging out after the show is kind of wrapped in the driveway. And I'm trying to think, like, a lot of those moments, any of the laughs that we've had, having the guys from Dies on here has been a blast. They always crack me up. They're the homies. B-Man, he cracks me up. Having Luke on, getting to revisit with some older friends like a Luke or a Jeremy. Dave for sure is a good one. Now that John Roan's come on, it's nice to be able to keep up. So having all of the friends come out of the woodwork has been super cool, and then meeting all of the bands is super cool. It's kind of hard to nail it down to one moment because I didn't come prepared for that question. I wasn't thinking of like, what are my favorite moments in the last 2 years? I know, like, one of the kids in the culinary arts school was like, "Oh, dude, you got a podcast?" And he put it on. Like, we were just rolling out with it. He put it on like in the kitchen. So there's like 8 stations or something. So there's only like 8 of us in there. But he's like, listen, he's like, F-bomb drops. He's like, dude, I didn't know there's going to be cursing on here. And I was like, well, I didn't know you were going to listen to it in the kitchen. But I said, keep in mind, it's like, there's some curse words, but like, it's the content's all music. It's not vulgar. There's just going to be some F-bombs or whatever. But I was like, I didn't expect you to like be jamming it right now. I thought you were going to go home and listen to it. I don't even know how much you can get from it right now. Like, kitchens are kind of loud.
Yeah.
But, so that was a funny moment. Like, I immediately, like, one episode in, like, they got somebody listening to it. So, just meeting all the people, I guess, too, has been a big part of it.
Yeah, that's what I'd have to say. Just being able to have, like, a reason to hang out with you every Sunday, reason to go out to more shows, reason to keep the metal dream alive, too, because, I could have went a lot of different ways. Maybe I would have still been playing metal, but this just gives me a reason to listen to new metal music.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just hard. I might still listen to Pantera. I mean, I still do, but I might just put on the same 19 albums that I love, But now it's like, I want to discover all these new bands or go out to see these new shows that I like, or even local shows, local bands. Like, I know this band's really good. We've had them on the show, So I think just having a reason to just continue to love metal for what it is and explore new metal and new sounds and
you remind me of a point I meant to make too, and that's like, just the hanging out with you. That was something that I was like, that's easy on a routine. That's almost like a band practice. Only sometimes that can come with additional people and additional expectations and stress. So this is even easier than that. We just show up and talk about music, and I have been fortunate enough to jam and collaborate with you musically kind of because we're in touch more.
Yep.
Probably would have had, it might have happened,
Yeah.
you know, like, hey, I got some stuff, you want to jam it, whatever. But now we get to see each other every week. We're doing a lot more than just the occasional jam or the occasional sharing of music. So
absolutely,
that's been awesome. I couldn't say no to that. And like you said, staying in touch with local music. It's weird because from when you're in the scene, kind of, if you will, and you're seeing all the DIY independent shows and the local artists, you kind of, when you're in it and you look outside, you're like, why don't people get this is great? Like, I know you like your national bands and your international bands coming through, but we have a really great thing just in our own backyard.
Yeah.
The homegrown locals are honestly as good as the guys out there doing it. Whatever musician you want to say, whatever name you want to say as an elite artist of S-tier skill, I will show you a band from Michigan that matches that level of skill. They just don't have the support and the backing of a record label and the finances that go with having all of that support, you know, from not having to just lean on your 9-to-5 job.
Absolutely.
So I'm telling you, there's great talent in this state and in this region. We've had a bunch of it come through here. And I would hope that people that are listening to the show that don't go out to shows, that's another big thing I'd like to get out of this podcast, is for people to not just listen to the bands and download their stuff or maybe even buy some merch, which would be killer.
Yeah.
Go buy the band's merch if you like it.
Please.
But get out to the show too. Be another face in the crowd, clapping, cheering, whooping it up.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it takes. Like, the bands have got to have pull. They got to have audience.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a lot of this goes by the wayside.
Yep.
You know, like, we're not getting a turnout. It's not fun. I'm sick of playing a show in front of just like other band members and their girlfriends.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you got to get out there and get some pull.
Yep.
You got to get out there and play those shows.
Yep.
So,
absolutely. So, you know, as far as we go and what's next for the show, like I said, going into 2026 might be a little bit of different look. Don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but I want to try a few different things. We've been doing this for 2+ years now, and I want to, you know, see if maybe we can make it look even better, make it sound even better, you know, and keep evolving and keep growing the show. That's the only way, you know, like you were saying earlier, just stay consistent at it, and it'll just evolve and change on itself. You can do all the planning, you can do all of the mind mapping of all these ideas, but until you just execute it and see how it goes, that's the only way you learn. That's the only way it can get better, you know.
Yeah, and plus, you know, you don't want to put the cart before the horse too much. You want to kind of have a good plan, but then you got to start to roll out with it and see, okay, the plan goes so well so far, but then you're going to have to call some audibles on the fly. You're going to learn something you didn't know before, so now you have to take a new approach to a thing that you couldn't have planned for. You kind of have to start rolling out a little bit at some point too. So, yeah, I mean, we've grown.
Also, I think
changed
in 2026. I think it will be a goal maybe to put out a little bit more stuff. In what capacity, I don't really know. I know I'd like to do those music reviews we talked about, and I am. By now, one should already be released. Because I got it all edited and everything, but I'd like to do those sitting down, and we kind of came up with a plan, but I'd like to add some just more short content in so we can put out a little more, and I would like to come up with a new plan. So with the reaction episodes, I made a little video the other day, and
saw that.
Yeah, so I got this, and we haven't really talked about it on the show. I kind of kept forgetting. We've kind of had other things going on, so we haven't really talked about it, but I guess right now is a great time to talk about it. So, and we have said before, so before I even get into this, on the reaction episodes, the bands send in the stuff. We only do 8 songs per episode, so it might take a little bit, but I always communicate through email that I've got this submission and what episode it's slated through, and we'll be in touch. So if you got that email, then know that I've seen it. If you want, just send us a new email with your stuff in case I missed it. But just the other day, I had like 40 emails, and sometimes I don't get on there every day, but going back to the reaction episodes, for some reason we got flagged on a song on reaction episode, I believe 21. Yeah, it was Eyes of Anguish, I believe, and it said that due to our terms and policies, you cannot use this song on your podcast. So I went back in and edited the podcast with that song taken out of it. I left our reaction in it, re-uploaded it. So I had to redo all the description, all that, you know, and re-upload everything. And because it's not like you can just replace it, you have to go through and do it all, which is fine. I can copy paste, but it's still just work, right?
Right.
And then as soon as I put that one up, I got another one, and it literally flagged every other song on there.
Oh,
So I was like, what the fuck? And it said, then your podcast will be hidden in the United States, Canada, Japan, blah, 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 right? It was saying all this stuff.
Jesus.
And it says, you can appeal here. So I appealed. And of course, you're just talking to an AI thing that doesn't understand any nuance of what you're trying to say. I'm like, this is the 22nd episode that we've been doing this. All these bands send us this music for us to listen to on our show. That's like part of it. And we've had no problem with any of these bands. Like, and then it sends me some automated thing back. Okay, we'll get back to you. Didn't hear anything back for like 3 weeks. And then when I finally got something back, it was like, oh, yeah, we can't help you with that or whatever. So it was like, didn't even understand what I was trying to say. Like, it was like, send us the fact that you got permission from all these bands. I'm like, I'm not going to do that every time we do one of these reaction episodes. Send Spotify this whole list. And what I don't even know what they really needed, right? But what a pain in the ass. It's already, So anyway, so what I did is I re-uploaded episode 21, reaction episode 21, and episode 22 on the streaming platforms and cut out all the music. So you have the music, but you don't, it says, here's the band, and then it just goes right to our reaction. But what's just strange, so I was like, fuck the system. I'm uploading the one without the music, and I'm uploading the one with the music, and I'm just going to let it fly to see if they both stay out there. Well, for some reason, I didn't get flagged on this week's, so I don't know what's up with that, but I thought we were going to have to go about it a different way. We're going to keep doing it the same way, but just know you can always count on YouTube, because YouTube does say that music's copyrighted, but all of the artists usually give us permission to use it on YouTube, so we don't ever get flagged on there. So just be mindful of that. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, because a lot of people listen on streaming, right? So, they're at work, they want to hear the bands, and people love our reaction episodes actually because they can discover new music, and that's kind of been a staple for us as well, just being able to react to bands and being able to engage with other bands all over the world, like you were saying, right? Like we've got submissions from everywhere, so that's really cool too. But going forward, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but for now, I just figured a workaround would be I'll upload the episode without the music on it, and I put right on the art says no music, but I'll also still upload both. So if Spotify lets it slip through the cracks, so you can listen to one or the other, the one will have music, the one will just say no music on it. Right. And it'll just say like attention. But you can always go to our YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, do that shit. But YouTube will always have the full episode. And then, going forward, we talked about, Patreon a few different times and what we could give. And that might be something you'll see in 2026 as well. I think we could get there with that.
The more the show grows and the more we put into it, then at some point you zoom back out and you're like, oh, there are costs to it, and there are other things that we can do. And I think that would give us an incentive. Like, hey, we're going to start to do some more things, but they're going to go behind the Patreon because we can't put every single thing that we do, every idea that we have, we just wouldn't be able to execute it and put it out there. We want to put it somewhere where you can access it at your own convenience. And do whatever we're going to do. We've talked a lot of ideas out there, and if people feel like they could afford to support us in some very nominal way, I mean, we'd greatly appreciate it, because obviously not here to make a buck and get rich. We've been doing it 2 years. We're going to keep doing it, but it would ease some burden, and it would allow us to grow in ways, and we could talk about what we would do with, any surplus amount of those Patreon dollars, like some things that we could do to just reinvest back into the show.
Absolutely.
Because you're not going to see me out here flossing.
Right. Yeah, that's not
on the back of your Patreon dollars. I think some people, just in case there was like some apprehension about that sort of thing, well, firstly, just then it's not for you, don't subscribe.
Right.
But for those that, would subscribe, there will be things there for you. We've talked about, and we'll share those things when we know for sure, because I don't want to say anything that we weren't 100% sure on right now. But we would give you guys some value behind that Patreon. And, I've looked at some people's Patreons and try to compare like business models or whatever they offer, and we've done that too. So we'll see about that, but we definitely want to make sure we would come in at something reasonable and something that people would certainly take advantage of. Like,
absolutely.
Like that, it's worth it for 1 month, it's worth it for the year. That sort of mentality.
Absolutely.
Like, try to give that to the audience at large.
And that's just also little things like I need to get new stickers. These are $75. Need to get some new cards because we've given them all out. It's just little small expenses like that too that would always help us. Just also sponsors too. That might be something looking into. I know we were talking to one person, and we'll probably develop that a little more. But shoot, we might be able to get a few sponsors going this year, so that'd be kind of cool too. Little sponsorships for the show. So that's just all stuff to look into, and as we continue to grow and everything. But those are things we could look forward to. Also, we did talk, and we kind of mentioned that 2026. I feel like I would like to see more Zoom calls just with some bands that might be
Yeah.
More on a different level. You know, I mean, we're always going to bring the homies in. We're always going to help the Michigan scene promote that. But I would like to kind of start growing a little bit beyond that.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to have a little more involvement with the Michigan Metal Fest this year. Probably having some of those bands either on the show or on Zoom calls, you know, even if they're shorter ones.
Yeah.
And we do more like 30-minute ones and we can pop out 2 or 3 in a week just to kind of help promote the Michigan Metal Fest bands. That might be something I was thinking about too. So
we
got some ideas flowing. I think you will see some different stuff, but getting on some of those Zoom calls, even if it's for an hour with somebody, I'd like to see that. Less time investment for everybody. I don't have to, you know, if we get someone on and I don't have to go through, they got 10 albums, we don't have to go through all 10 albums. We'll talk about the main questions, what's pertinent, what we want to know. And
we're just not located in a great spot that bands on a touring circuit would come through. Most bands, when they get to Grand Rapids, they're immediately going to go south on 131 or I-96 to go toward like Holland and then south to Chicago. So no bands really come through Muskegon for any good reason at all. I mean, you'd have to have like a Traverse City date or something and be driving south to get through Muskegon. Nobody's really coming through Muskegon at all. So, but the Zoom calls make a lot of sense for touring bands, especially on a larger circuit where, you know, like they could be anywhere.
Yep.
They don't have to be in Michigan at all. They could just Zoom call us and like that'd be great.
So yeah, that's kind of some things I'd like to go going forward. And we'll about wrap this up here. It was cool just to wax about the pod and kind of reflect on some things. You know, we don't really dive too much into behind the curtain a lot on here. I think we speak freely and we speak our mind most of the time. But going into 2026, you got any resolutions or anything personal that you want to work on? Maybe not just podcast wise, but I mean, is there any?
Yeah, I've been rolling around some ideas that I might use on the culinary side of my life to actually, you know, utilize my degree and work in that. So been rolling around some ideas that I could actually work in that field and juggle that as right now I'm a stay-at-home parent. So that's something I talk to my wife about often. Is like I'd like to be able to buy my own things that that I want, that don't make any sense to you. Like I wouldn't ask my wife as the one working individual in the household, like, can I buy a new guitar amp?
Right.
Like I don't feel right about that.
Because it's not a need, right?
Yeah,
it's just a want, right?
Yeah, and more to the point is like, hey, if I want like a video game, well, anybody can play the video game in the household, right? Like, it's, you know, if I new game system or something, everybody can play that, but only I get to use the guitar amp. So there's things I'd like to do personally. Like, I'd like to go out there and get back into the workforce, but I like staying at home and raising my child and knowing that I'm the one that sees her to school, picks her up, feeds her, tucks her in at night. That you can't replace that, and you don't get that time back.
No, never.
So, but we're getting to a point too where it's a lot easier to come and go.
Yeah.
When your kid gets a little bit more of age, you can get out of the house. So, culinarily, I would like to do a little bit more. I would like to take a step in that direction. But musically too, I've seen so many artists come through here in the last 2 years. I would love to just be playing more and find that time in that routine. So. I think that's it. And then, yeah, man, I try not to look too far into the future. Usually it's scary and unknown, and I just take it one day at a time. And I know that for myself, I just want to develop better routines. I want to push that get up out of bed earlier if I can. Just, man, imagine if I could just 1 hour earlier, like all that I could do instead of having to kind of to rush. I'm a bad morning person, man. I'm not a bad mood morning person. I'm a good mood morning person. I just struggle to get out of bed any earlier than I absolutely need to.
Yeah.
So some better routines would be great, man. If I could just get up and stretch or walk the dog even earlier.
Right.
You know, just get a few things out of the way that would help me feel so much better about however else I choose to spend my time for the day.
That makes sense.
If I got a little bit better routine in the morning, I would say I would feel better. So those are some of the things, music, food, and just health-wise, like, routines, better routines always. What about you, man? Big Dog, I know you're always looking into the future with some plans.
Well, I want to just keep growing the podcast, getting better. Obviously, we just talked about that. It's just accomplishing goals. I think next year I would like to be playing my guitar more.
Okay.
I want to write some more stuff.
Okay.
I want to write more things. Like, I have so many ideas, and then we do a lot for the pod. we do a lot for the pod. And you've taken some of that off my plate, and that's helped a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
So, but I would like to really dedicate myself to trying to get the guitar in my hand, not only just in a good practice routine as far as like running maybe some things I've never learned before and stretching that muscle again, but also just trying to write more things, get more ideas out, because I just, we're getting older all the time, and I just feel like I have all these ideas, and I just don't want them to sit there. And then we have some, like this guy that we're talking about coming through here, or Michael, from Vestigial Stellima.
Yeah,
they're cranking out album after album, and I'm like, what am I doing? I know I'm busy with shit,
right?
But motherfuckers got time to play, so I need to make time for myself to play, whether I'm writing or practicing. And sometimes they go in a good little spurts of that, and then sometimes it gets neglected because everything is pushed in front. But I'm really going to try to make that a priority this year, is more personal music, I guess.
That raises two thoughts in my mind that I return to you. And one is that, comparison is the death of joy. What another person can do and output is what they can do and output. But you should never, compare yourself to their standard of their output. Like, you just do what you can do.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was, with respect to writing the music. Oh man. I lost my train. Yeah, the comparison thing, don't worry about it. But the second thing I was going to say is, when I was getting into the culinary arts program, the main person, the head that took on all the students, forget the title, we'll just say like an administrator. They said, you make time for the things that are important to you, flat out. Like, if it means enough to you, you make the time for it. So what we find now at our age is that, the plate's full.
Yeah.
Something's got to come off the plate for something else to go on the plate.
Yep.
So we already know, there's no time. If we're going to make time, it actually means cutting something out so that we can do it. And we juggle a lot just between the podcast and then trying to be a musician on top of that, on top of being a father and a husband. Those are responsibilities and obligations, work, those.
Yep. So
the time of the day available to you, limited.
Yeah, very limited.
But, wanting to get into the lab and write is also something I feel. Songwriting means more to me than anything in music right now. Like, just a good song. Like, the musicianship doesn't have to hit the ceiling. I love it when guys rip, but I'm also like, but is it a song though? And some yes, and sometimes no.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing for me is just being comfortable with like one or two riffs and saying, let's just flesh that out. Just flesh two riffs out. If you can go A, B, A, man, that's a song.
Yeah.
Sometimes you only need A, B, A.
Yep.
Like, Alice in Chains is one of the best bands to ever take two riffs and make great songs out of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at like What the Hell Have I? Look at Them Bones.
Yep.
These songs literally have two riffs. That's it.
Yep.
And they're great songs.
Yep.
And that's all you need. You need A, B, A, B sometimes, and you got a song. So
absolutely, dude.
Going into 2026, I think writing songs that are songs and musical and they're catchy would be a goal for me, or be involved in that process with, you or anyone else. But namely you, because we always work together like that. But definitely that.
Yeah, and I understand the comparison thing. I just I see these guys putting out a lot of shit, and I'm not saying I'm going to even go where I'm not going to crank out an album every
6 months
or 6 months or whatever, but it's just like I can at least write a few more riffs. I can write a few more songs this year than I did last. There is time, and what you're you got to get rid of something. Well, maybe I just don't doom scroll as much, and I actually pick up the guitar instead, because there is time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's there. Nope. It's just you got to kind of find it, because sometimes you might just be standing in the kitchen staring at the fucking refrigerator wondering why you went in there. Well, there's time right there.
I think, and also, too, allowing ourselves, time to decompress and chill.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that chill, or that, that time is there, but that energy isn't. And that's where I fall into the biggest trap, is because I'm like, God, I'm tired. And I think it's just I just need a break. But also I'm like, I am. But if I go downstairs and I pick up the guitar, I might not be so tired in 20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I just force myself to pick it up and play, then turn that faucet on and get something going, maybe I might not be as tired. But it is hard when you're trying to find the time and the energy to both, intersect. And then it makes perfect sense to go down to the basement and write for 4 to 8 hours if that's what you do. But like I said, you'll make time for what's important. You'll find time. You'll cut something out. I play a lot of video games, man. I do. I play a lot of video games more lately. I kind of cut that out. It wasn't a big part of my routine. And then I just kind of, I don't want to say I fell back into it, but it made sense. I was bored.
Yeah.
I thought my daughter didn't need to be entertained by me.
Yeah.
She'd come home from school, she has a snack, she grabs her Chromebook, and she grabs the Switch, and then she plops down, and she's, like, I don't need to watch that.
Right.
Like, it's not a toddler crawling around putting
right.
random toys in their mouth. It's a
right.
kid that's dialed in on Zelda. So
yeah,
like,
and can do her own thing too.
Yeah, and so that time I could go down and play music, or I can play video games. So it's, and I, you invited me along to help you out with Iron Sharpens Iron a week ago.
Yep.
And
thank
all
you
that music, yeah, you're welcome. That was a blast. Thank you for that. I threw all that video game time kind of like out the window, or a lot of it.
Yep.
Because then I would huge blocks of time to do music. And I was like, ooh, this is good, because I would sit down and I would sit down and learn.
Yeah.
And then I would feel good about it. And then I would kick that chair out, and then I would stand up.
Yeah.
And then I would throw it down, like, okay, now we got to work on stage presence. So
Right.
there's time. There's absolutely
there's
time. Sometimes it's just about focus. Sometimes it's about like knowing like the direction, the goal that you absolutely are. I'm heading toward that destination, and
absolutely,
I want to get there in 2026. I want to know that I have the compass in hand that doesn't
Yeah.
point north. It takes me to what I want.
Also, we got these Infinite Design songs. I'd like to see them finish in 2026.
Yeah, you interrupted that process with asking me to do Iron Sharpens Iron.
Yeah, that's fine, but
no, it's got to happen for sure. I'm excited.
Yeah. So other than that, man, I think we kind of covered a lot. I think we reflected a lot. Probably a good time to call it, man. I just want to say, everybody, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have, a great new year, good health, wealth, and good love and family time and all that stuff. And maybe if you got any of your own, New Year's resolutions, maybe you can accomplish those. I don't do New Year's resolutions.
Right.
I just say maybe in 2026 I might like to, because I already do all the New Year's resolutions everybody else always does for most of the year. So, I'm just like, what I'd like to give a little more focus to in 2026. And I know that is definitely one of them.
I'll give everybody a New Year's resolution they can consider for themselves right now. And that is that when you're setting your destination for 2026, when you get to the end of it and you look back at it, have your New Year's resolution be to not shit on the new year that you just experienced.
Right.
Everybody gets to like December 31 and they're like, fuck you, 2025, get out of here, bring on 2026. And they're always stoked for the next year, but they're always shitting on the previous year. If you're that person, stop, pause, take a beat. Did your year really suck, or did you not do what you set out to do?
That's a good
And sometimes shit happens. I get it. You can
Life happens, man.
You can have a bad year, but all that's in your control is how you respond to that.
Yep.
If you're the guy that rolls up at December 31st and shits on the year that you just had, expecting the next year to be great, take a beat.
Yeah.
You're about to have a shitty year.
Yeah.
So on December 31st, you should be looking back on your year saying, these are all the amazing things that happened in spite of any bad that happened.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to more and better in the next year.
Absolutely.
You got to have the same attitude December 31st as you do January 1st.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to have that same energy. So that's what I would say about New Year's resolutions going into the next year, because I see it all the time. Same people, same side, or talking out of both sides of their mouth. Yeah. So if 2025 sucked for you, guarantee you're going to be saying 2026 sucked too.
Well, that's what's cool about this episode too, is because we got to reflect back, and we've got to do a lot of cool shit this year. Actually, I mean, from Hoist Fest, we just opened for 200 stab wounds and no cure, so that was cool. Just the way that worked out, we got to do it.
Yeah.
That
was awesome.
We got to meet some people that knew about the podcast out there. So
saw a guy out there. He dapped me up for he told me he watched the podcast. Now my homie, my friend, he had like a bunch of patches on his black like jean jacket or something or whatever, and I didn't take like a moment in the moment to like converse with that person. And I regret it. I'm sorry. I just at that point of the night, I think we had played, and I was gassed. I just was totally gassed. I just wanted to kind of like cocoon by my people and then just be ready to be dismissed. Yeah. But my homie, thank you for all of the homies that watched the show. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody that subscribed, liked, shared, commented,
I love it.
Any band that's been on, any band that sent us anything, we appreciate you deeply. And this podcast is given us a lot of great opportunities this year just to do cool shit, hear new music, go to cool shows, meet cool people. So we have a lot to be grateful for, that's for sure. So what's 2026 going to look for like? Just hopefully more of that, man.
More of the same
more
and
cool,
better.
fun shit,
Yeah.
Make the best of it you can and learn as you go and get better. So,
yeah.
With that being said, Happy New Year to you guys, and keep it metal.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year.
Peace. Thank you so much for checking out the episode. Be sure to hit that like button and give us a share.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed our podcast today, please give it a rating on your streaming service to help us gain some exposure.
And if you really enjoyed the show, please give us a follow or hit that subscribe button and come hang out with us every week. And remember, keep it metal.